Mike Briggs and Athena. Mike just took off doing something, who knows. We're talking about communication because there's all different kinds of communication. You could call someone when they don't call you back. It's like, okay. Then there's communication with spreadsheets and emails, and a lot of employers kind of hide themselves behind emails and spreadsheets. The best kind of communication, I think, is actually on the phone or talking to someone. Kathryn Wages here, Center for Communication Skills. Welcome, Kathryn. Tell us about your center.
Thank you, Athena. I'm delighted to be here. And our center has been around for more than 15 years,
what?
Actually.
I think I've seen it. It's in Fresno, all the way down Shaw near, you were just telling me off the air, Piccadilly.
Piccadilly Inn,
okay.
Shaw and Van Ness area. And we're just off Shaw, so you have to get off the main road to see us. But we are back there, and we have a big, beautiful center. It's called the California Learning Connection. My business is in it, and it's the Center for Communication Skills, and I'm a speech therapist.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, were you a speech therapist for like the school districts and stuff like that, and then you ended up here, or were you just like with anyone, adults, kids?
Right now it's anyone, adults, kids, because from the minute you're born till the end of your life, you need communication. And
absolutely.
There are many things that interfere with communication. We do see school children, that's for sure.
With either lists or kind of speech impediments that can't pronounce their R's.
Usually those things are handled at school.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
So these are the kids who maybe have a little more complex issues, who also have learning disabilities, or who have been in speech for a long time and they haven't been making progress, and parents are getting sort of anxious to say, let's move on,
yes.
let's get through this and get to the next stage. So then they get more help and we can help them.
And then adults too, obviously.
Okay, so there's so many things that can interfere
yes.
with communication.
Yes.
Birth defects interfere with communication,
yes.
and at the other end of life, you've got stroke or illness or
that's what I was
other
thinking, when you get
head
older.
injuries, concussions. All of those things
wow.
impact communication, and so when you're trained as a speech therapist or speech pathologist, you have to understand all the possibilities that there are and then be able to provide the right kind of help so that at a certain age you're getting appropriate sorts of work to do and they're making a difference and making you a better communicator.
Wow. What about stuttering?
Stuttering is something that kind of sometimes runs in families and other times not. And sometimes is a lifelong thing that people have to deal with, and sometimes if they get early intervention that's effective, then it doesn't reoccur. So stuttering is one of the more mysterious things that we deal with, but because of all the brain studies recently, we know a lot more about stuttering than we did before. And we know really that it seems to be an issue of timing in the brain and how your brain responds at a very vibrational level. So,
and it's usually with kids. I mean, I guess you would see some adults stuttering, but it just depends on where they are in life. If they do have a learning disability, or it's rare. But I see it in kids a little
yes,
bit. Not that much though anymore.
Well, that's good.
I
there are
think
a lot of
like
school therapists who are dealing with
and I think
stuttering.
the schools kind of stop it, when it's earlier in life. Well, what else can you do communication skills such as I don't know, just basically talking to people, or is it more of a speech kind of a deal? Because when I think of communication skills, I think of some people get shell-shocked of making a speech, stuff like that.
Yeah, it can go in that direction,
yeah.
But honestly, when we're dealing with communication disorders, we're not even really talking about speech. We're talking about young children who have difficulty acquiring language, maybe because of autism,
right.
or because of Down syndrome, or because of some other early event in their life. Some babies have strokes, believe it or not.
That's true, they do.
And so those people, those children, are going to have difficulty even acquiring language, being able to have a first language that they can use to express their basic needs. So that's very important to get help early on for those little ones who need it. But then as you go through the ages, illness, allergies, ear infections, all of those things
You know, it's interesting that you brought that up. My friend's son, something was going on with his ears. He had an ear infection, but it wasn't something that, like, you know, an antibiotic could cure. So long story short, he had to get tubes, and now he's not that old. We're talking like maybe 2, but he's not talking. His speech, I've seen it before. So when you get the ear infections and then the tubes in your ears, they say it delays your speech altogether. Like they don't even know how to talk, and they're 2 now.
Exactly.
So
Those
they would
children,
come.
yes, we see a lot of those children, and we do provide the therapy that gets them caught up.
Okay, that's good. That's hard. Especially when you're 2 and you're like, okay, well, now they're not even talking yet.
Yeah.
And another one of my friends, I think her daughter is like the high end of Asperger's autism of some
Sure.
sort. And she's still, she's got a little bit of a speech impediment, but she didn't talk till way later than my son, and she had to go through a lot of
Right.
therapy.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Do you do sign language there for the deaf?
We do sign language.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely. If that's the most important way to communicate, then that's what we do. We do
Okay.
typing because sometimes that's the best way to communicate.
Oh, interesting.
If you have somebody who really can't, coordinate and use their oral mechanism to speak, then typing is another way to do it. And thank goodness for iPads and tablets these days.
Yes.
There's so much communication that can happen over those.
One of my dear friends, she died of Lou Gehrig's. And when the muscle takes over, you can't talk anymore.
That's exactly right.
She did something on her. She was emailing me with something because she lost, I don't know if she could actually type or she lost all the muscles. Somehow, some way, I couldn't believe it, how she communicated with me, to me, without even opening her
Well,
mouth.
technology has helped us out a lot because sometimes if you can get to the first letter of a word and the second letter of a word, it starts giving you options, so you can pick one of the options. So it's word prediction, and you might have seen that on your phone or your iPad as well.
Maybe it was like a word prediction kind of thing.
But for people with communication disorders, that's critical because the effort that it would take to type out every single word sometimes is so much more than they could possibly put out. And yet they have thoughts they want to communicate, and they're locked inside these bodies that don't work. And so a speech therapist's job is to find whatever means can be successful to help someone with a communication disorder communicate. And it's a wonderful career. It's a very satisfying career to have, and I feel very fortunate and thankful for the clients I've worked with and how much I have learned from them. Really, it's a
it sounds pretty
life.
cool, actually. What are your hours? How can people get a hold of you?
We're open Monday through Saturday, and usual hours are 8 to 5, although a couple of evenings we're open till 7, and Saturdays it's a shorter day, 9 to 2. You can call us and make an appointment, and I do consultations with people at no charge, just so we can see, what are your concerns? Do we have the staff that can help you, or can I send you somewhere else for other kinds of help that might be better?
Does insurance pick up any of this stuff?
Insurance will pick up coverage if it's written into your plan to have speech therapy covered. And if you have a qualifying condition, and usually that's related to some sort of medical issue, even ear infections can be considered a medical issue that would lead you to speech therapy.
Oh, ear infections, absolutely. Oh, I know. My voice is really raspy. I've had, vocal surgery like Julie Andrews did. And can speech therapy help someone who... I'm much better now, but there was a time where I kept on losing my voice.
Yes.
Would you do something like that?
Yes, speech therapists often do voice therapy, and ENTs will send clients to us so that we can help with what they call vocal hygiene, how to use your voice so you're not
Don't
abusing
drink coffee,
it.
acid reflux.
Yes, don't speak too loudly. Don't yell across the football field. Don't speak in a way that damages your vocal cords.
I have to laugh because I've learned through the years, my son plays football, I've learned to just, these other moms are like really vocal. Sorry, my phone never goes off. These mothers just go crazy on the field, and a lot of their voices become very hoarse, and I'm like, look, I know you want to cheer on your son. I have vocal problems. Believe me, when my son's on that field, I want to scream out to him. I've learned to I clap really, I probably look so weird up there. I clap really loud, and I'm like when he can hear me, I go Rocco, like that. I've learned because I know because of my vocal cords, I'm going to lose them. Anyway, hey, I would love to come and see you. Kathryn Waynes, you're awesome. Center for Communication Skills. What is your phone number and address? We got to run, but I want anyone watching right now, if you have an elderly person, a young person, maybe you can come and see this awesome woman.
Okay, the phone number is 559-228-9100, and the address is 2505 West Shaw Avenue, Building A.
Center for Communication Skills. Well, you are fabulous in what you do, Kathryn. We really appreciate you.